My name is Roger Kauffman. I'm the CEO of EMR, a service company in Baltimore. Yes, my father got into the business by starting to work for four gentlemen that owned the business as the office manager. And they had a department that was losing money and gave him the chore of trying to straighten it out, which he did. And because of his success, they turned the rest of the company over to his oversight. And through that process, he and the principal owner had an agreement that when the owner retired, my father would be able to buy the business. And after that, he had a heart attack, not my father, but the owner had a heart attack and died. And the wife of the owner, her brother came in and announced that he was now the president. To which my father went and saw Mrs. Beischel, was her name, and said, I don't know if you remember or know that your husband and I had a deal that I would be able to buy the company when he retired. And she says, I do know, Harry. And she threw her brother out and sold the business to my father. So on a very precarious note, a handshake, my father acquired the majority ownership of the company, and over the years bought the other three owners out. And that's how the Kauffmans acquired the company. Very early on, one of the backbone departments in the company was the household portable appliance department. They would fix vacuum cleaners, irons, fans. Back then they didn't have air conditioning, so everybody had a fan. And over the years, the cost of the product got cheaper and cheaper. The cost to repair the product became more expensive, to the point that I had to eventually close that operation, just because the cost of a new blender jar was more than the cost of a whole blender from Kohl's or someplace like that. We gradually went into the commercial side of appliances through the portable appliance operation. Manufacturers that made steam irons and griddles for the home started to make products for commercial kitchens. Westinghouse, Hot Point, and we represented them in the domestic side. They came to my father and said, you're already doing the domestic stuff, do you want to do the commercial? And my father was always interested in growing, so he said yes. And we hired our first commercial cooking repair tech. But that's the humble beginnings of the commercial side of the business, which now is, again, the backbone of the business. We started out just being a Baltimore operation, and when I took over and started to have more authority in the company, we expanded over to Silver Spring, just out of DC, as our first branch operation. From that, we've grown to Lorton, Virginia, Northern Virginia area, Salisbury, Eastern Shore, Delaware Valley, which encompasses Jersey, Delaware, and Philadelphia. And our plans to expand go a little further west into Western Maryland, West Virginia, specifically Morgantown, West Virginia, Deep Creek Lake area. And next year, toward the end of the year, going to Virginia Beach and Norfolk to go further south in Virginia. My idea eventually, before I die or retire, whichever comes first, is to be in North Carolina. I want to be that far south.